Welcome. In this video I'm going to show you a little bit about how to create rollover buttons with CSS, and this is something that's very exciting to do. If you've ever tried to make rollover buttons with graphic design programs, you know that it can be a real hassle because you have to create up images, over images for when you put the mouse over. But you can do all this with CSS code, and you have a lot of flexibility to make nice looking buttons with all different sorts of colors. So here I'm going to show you some HTML code that I have, and this is just a basic web page that lists a few popular search engines, and we're just using this for sample purposes. So you can see that these are hyperlinks here. Now what we're going to do in this video, and here are just the hyperlinks, is we're going to make these links into rollover CSS buttons. So let's go back to the HTML file in Notepad, and Notepad's probably the hardest way to create CSS. You might want to use a what you see is what you get editor for CSS like Dreamweaver, but here let's look at the HTML, and I've got some code for the rollover buttons in another HTML file, and you can get all this code to do these things plus much more at www.learncss.info, and I'm going to just paste in this code and show you what it does. So I've pasted in the CSS code into the head area of the HTML page, and you see first you have to say the style type is text CSS, and we're naming this .nav1. That'll be the name of the class for this button, and you'll see how that works shortly. And here are all the CSS definitions. We have a color, and I believe this is blue, and we have the padding for the cell, the padding left, right, the text decoration, display. All this stuff doesn't make much sense until you see it in action, but right below the here we have the hover state. So let me just save this now and give you a look at what this does. First we're going to need to add the class to the HTML code. So we'll say class equals nav1, and I'm going to copy this to the rest of the links. Actually, for now we'll just do the first two. Let's save it. Now let's refresh the web page, and you'll see we have a rollover button. Now I kept the background color the same, but we could change that too. We would have to change the hover property, and for the background we could just put black instead of an RGB color. Let's see what that looks like. Now when we hover, it turns black. And we could also make the text turn yellow when it hovers. We could just copy the background color from the up state. And now you see we have a button like this. Now this is just the beginning of all that you can do, and you can get all this HTML code and learn more about making rollover buttons with CSS. And take a look at http www.learncss.info. That's www.learncss.info, and you get a whole bunch of code. You'll really learn a lot about CSS, but I just wanted to demonstrate one of the basic effects that you can learn.